Alright everybody, so we are going to do this dot on the bodice block. So here we have a sort of a bodice block, or shall I call it a summer top, right? Where we have dots at the bottom here, and we all know that dots is meant to create some shape or dimension within the fabric, allowing for the bust to have more room to move, or at least room for the bust, specifically if you are working with fabrics that doesn't have any stretch and you want to create some dimension or volume in there for the bust area. All right, so we are looking at the dots first, and then we're going to grab the other panel and we're going to do pleats on this side. So one for pleats and one for dots. All right, so you have already traced the pattern in class and you've copied these lines over onto your fabric. It just makes it easier for you to press these dots in. All right, and we are already familiar with dots, where we just fold this point to that point, the dot legs, and then we will just sew the dot close from this point all the way to the dot point. Yeah, same applies to this one. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to fold our fabric over and we're going to finger press these dots real quick, lining up the dot points towards, or shall I say, the dot legs. And we're going to sew from this point all the way to the dot point. And then we're going to repeat that step for the other dot. All right, I'll see you guys at the sewing machine. All right, people, so we're going to do the dots real quick for the tank top. So I'm going to put the dot legs together and I'm going to sew towards the dot point here. We want to see the difference between the dots and the pleats on a tank top. Back tack, this is a permanent stitch all the way to the dot point. We're going to go 1 millimeter off the fabric so we can back tack. There we go. Lift up the needle to the highest point. Remove the fabric, cut off your threads, and then we move on to the next dot. Finger press the dot so it's nice and flat. Lower your foot onto the dot legs, back tack, and sew all the way to the dot point. Back tack. Cut off your threads. And there is our dots, people. Alright. Cool. And on the other one, which is your pleats, we're going to just prepare this in one video. So the dots are done, we're going to do the pleats. And from memory, pleats, we're just going to fold the pleats either going towards the side seam or towards the center front. and in this case we're going to fold the pleats towards the side seam. So we're going to take these that looks like dots, we're going to just fold them going towards that way, right? And because we want to do this on the right side of the fabric, we're going to take these dot positions, which are also pleats, and just fold them over. And then as we are folding them, we're just going to do a stay stitch and fold this over and do a stay stitch, right? That is essentially how we create pleats into our fabric. So I'm going to fold it over, so dart legs, which is this one here, and that's the dart leg. I'm taking both those dart legs, folding them on top of each other, and I'm going to run a stay stitch over. And in this case, let's back tack. We often don't do back tacks for a stay stitch, but let's do a back tack. And it's 5mm from the edge, and as I'm doing that stay stitch, I'm going to fold this dart leg here over to the other dart leg, and I'm going to hold it like that so that I can sew over them, and go back tack there as well, and then sew all the way till the end. Raise the needle, lift the foot, and there is our pleats, everybody. Yeah. Right, so what we want to do after we have one side pleats, this is your pleats, and the other side we have our dots, this is our dots. Then we're going to put right side together, so this is our center front. We're going to sew the center fronts together. So I'll take this center front of the dart, I'll put it on top of the pleats, right sides together, and we're going to sew 1 centimeter on the center front. The reason for that is just to put the two blocks together so that we can see the difference between the dots versus pleats. Why we would choose one or the other is purely aesthetic and based on the preference of the customer, right? Lower the needle, do a back tack, 1 to 3, 1 to 3, sew all the way to the end, back tack, 1 to 3, 1 to 3, remove the fabric, and there we have our seam on the front. Alright, let's head back to the table. I'll show you in a better angle. Alright people, so here we have the two blocks together. So on the one side here we have our pleats. As you can see, it's pleated, and on the other side we have our dots. And the reason why we are doing it this way is so that you can have both of them together and choose which one you would like to work with regards to the customer's preference or the design that you are working on. May it be pleats or may it be dots. Alright, so that is what I'd like you guys to do. Of course, you may have already copied these from the pattern onto your fabrics, and one side it will be your pleats and the other side it will be your dots. Alright people.